Smoked cocktails have never been easier to make thanks to our Halo Drink Smoker. Simply place the cocktail smoker on your glass, light the wood chips until they start to smoke, and then top it off with the lid to infuse your drink with a delicious, new, smoky flavor.
Welcome to the Turnpike Sports Spotlight. Dave Weishautel with you. If you've listened to this show, you know I'm a huge poker fan, and for me, no one does poker better than BetMGM and Borgata. Their cash games and their tournaments, I think, are the best in poker. And this fall, BetMGM and Borgata are bringing you some poker events that you won't see anywhere else in the world. And to tell us about it, we have a couple of guests on the line. David Mileaf is Senior Manager of Poker Operations for BetMGM, and one of my favorite people in the poker world, Kellie de Celis, Borgata's Director of Poker Operations. David, welcome to the show, and Kellie, welcome back to the show.
Hey, Dave, thanks for having us.
Definitely. Really excited to be back, Dave.
I am so glad that both of you are on here to talk about BetMGM and Borgata, because being in New Jersey, I have this front row seat of the incredible things you're doing by bringing online poker and live poker together. I mean, you are both a part of creating this incredible synergy between the online and live poker world, and it's really making poker really great. From both of your perspectives, has this marriage between online and live world been an easy one? I'm sure we always have poker purists who say, you know, online poker is one game and live poker is another game, and they should be mixed. But how is this combination of online and live poker affecting game in both your eyes? I mean, David, since this is the first time on the show, why don't you start off?
Sure. I'd say I agree to an extent. Online poker and live poker, they do have their differences, but at the end of the day, poker is poker.
Yep.
And working with Kellie and working with the Borgata, that's what makes it easy. We've put together multiple events over the years, hybrid events, starting online, finishing live, qualifiers, satellite packages, pretty much the works. Anything we can do to support the big events that we have here at the Borgata and the other MGM properties, we do what we can. We have our instant registration. Players can log into the app. They can register through the app. They can go to our desk and just check right in. Plenty of options available to everybody. So to answer your question, yeah, it's actually been very easy, I think, working with the Borgata on this.
I definitely agree, Dave. I think that, you always have to start somewhere. And so in the early days of our collaborations, in just the mindset of creating these massive omni-channel events, we started small. And every single time that we plan something new, we always have this mindset that we want to get a little bit bigger and a little bit better. And coming off of the big series that we just wrapped up, obviously we may have gone really big, but it was really exciting, I think. And every time we are able to get together, we try to add at least one more item that improves the player experience and really provides the player pool from online and from the retail space opportunities to play on either and enjoy both equally.
Now, I have said consistently and constantly that Borgata is my favorite live poker room in the world. And it sounds like it just got even better because, Kellie, you just opened up a new space on September 7th. And I guess it's a new cross-branded poker room and tournament space on the property. Tell us about that, and where is it on the property?
Yeah, absolutely. So we re-envisioned the space here in the Borgata Poker Room. It hadn't really seen a refresh since it grand opened in 2006 in this new space. At the time, it had 85 tables and a big tournament area all the way in the back of the room for any of your listeners that used to play here way back in the day. But, since then, lots of things have changes and there's evolution in the space. And And we really wanted to rejoin the race book. And since BetMGM represents that race book, it was the perfect opportunity, especially given our location directly across from the BetMGM Sportsbook, to really combine the two areas. It gave us an opportunity to provide new player chairs, new co-branded layouts, new wireless charging rails in the cash room, as well as a brand new welcome space for our players when they walk into the room. We were also able to drop in 32 big screen TVs at eye level. And I know that Borgata is known for its TVs, 72 TVs, 25 feet in the air. But it doesn't matter how big you make a big screen when it's 25 feet in the air. The football game just isn't the same. So we were really excited to have those big screens drop throughout the room. And so what that offered us an opportunity to do when we re-envisioned the space is make the live room a nice cohesive square unit. And then that backspace that we had where we used to have high limit games, we were able to take that registration desk and make that into a one-stop shop for not only signing up for a poker game, which is what you could do there historically. Now you're able to register and receive your payout both at that desk, both conducted by poker personnel, which has been really streamlined the process for us, has made it much more enjoyable, much less wait. So we were really excited to be able to introduce that. And so looking at that space of 18 tables, in addition to the registration desk, we were able to do some nice marketing collateral there and some really beautiful wraps around the room that really brands it and shows that BetMGM Poker is our partner, is here to stay, and that a lot of the things, especially on the tournament side, are always going to be in partnership with them.
I told you guys before we started recording that I'm looking at a computer that has the BetMGM poker icon and the Borgata poker icon right next to each other. So you're never far from my thoughts. And I am constantly amazed at the new and inventive things you're doing in poker. I mean, it's just incredible. And you're coming off some really great events. You just came off a very successful Borgata Summer Poker Open. And for the fall, you have 3 incredible events. And you just had one. It was called the Borgata Big Buy Series powered by BetMGM. And the other 2, just we're going to talk about a little bit, are the Lions of the Atlantic, powered by BetMGM, and the Borgata Fall Poker Open, powered by BetMGM. And I said Borgata just had the Big Buy Series, which I guess it was completed September 17th, if I'm looking at the schedule right. Can you both give us a bit of a recap for this first trilogy of tournaments that you're having in the fall? I mean, David, how did the online qualifiers go? And Kelly, right after Dave answers, give us a summary of the guarantees and the prizes that were given away.
Sure. Heading into the Big Buy Series, we ran a full suite of qualifiers online, which probably had, I want to say, the most success we've ever seen in any of our qualifier packages. We were seeing 2 to 3x the guarantees on almost everything across the board for weeks. The players came out in droves for this one. Excitement was at an all-time high, and that reflected in just the overall performance of this series. Every event was fantastic. I don't think, and Kelly can agree, I don't think we could ask for a better turnout, honestly.
I do agree. And, it's always incredible. So we spent a lot of time together over Summer Poker Open, which was July 17th to August 1st. And that was the first time we've had an opportunity to run that Summer Poker Open since really coming back from COVID. And so it was really great to have that 2-week time period. And since our opens are powered by BetMGM, Dave literally lives here on property with us. And so we had a great opportunity to collaborate and talk during that open, talk to our players. And Dave, that's one of his biggest proponents, is that he is so player focused, and he provides a lot of his time and a lot of his ear to our player base. And really what we were hearing, especially from that championship level player, is that they are flying from stop to stop to stop for just 1 or 2 events. And we knew that we wanted to do something special in September. And we also knew that we were launching this new co-branded tournament space. And so we were able to kind of dream up this 10-day, 9 event event series. And it was really the first time that we had also partnered as organizations on guarantees. While most of our events powered by BetMGM Poker means that they are powering it through qualifiers, through instant registration, through instant access to the events. Really, in this event, there was absolute marriage here where he brought Ite in to run Ite's 9-game mix. They blew up the high roller. We saw the most entries in a high roller event ever offered here at Borgata for that 10K. And over the 9 events, we had 764 unique players, over 2,600 buy-ins. It was just really incredible to see all of the East Coast players come. And, when you do a one-off, it's impossible not to think, oh gosh, what have we done leading up to it? And I know I couldn't sleep the entire weekend, just really nervous about Monday. But once we kicked off the kickoff, which was a $2,200, $1 million guarantee with just 2 flights. Once we saw those numbers, we said, oh, this is going to be fantastic. And I know I say it all the time. I'm constantly thanking our players, and I try to make sure every time before I leave, I make my rounds and just say thank you for coming. But really, our player base on this East Coast is incredible. We couldn't ask for just players that are so invested in our success, because our success means they have successful events to play here on the East Coast.
Completely agree. And I tell Kelly this all the time. I think our MGM poker players are the most loyal in the industry. They're fantastic to work with, and we enjoy seeing them every time they come out.
Now, I got to ask you about the second tournament because it's just an incredible idea. It's called Lions of the Atlantic, and it's a cross-property event combining MGM National Harbor and Borgata players. First off, Lions of the Atlantic is a great name for a tournament, and BetMGM and Borgata always comes up with great names for tournaments, so good for you guys. But I got to ask you about the planning of this, and I know what goes in to planning a poker tournament, and it's just constant nonstop, and it's just absolutely incredible for the coordination. But something like this that has 2 properties involved, I would think that it involves a little more heavy lifting and a little more coordination. I mean, for example, there's no online poker in Maryland. So, David, what's the online component like for this tournament? Is it just for New Jersey players?
Yeah, so for this tournament, we're offering qualifiers and satellites to the Borgata flights. Unfortunately, not to National Harbor on this one, although we typically do offer satellite packages to a lot of the major events, like the Potomac Poker Open.
Kelly, talk about the structure of Lions of the Atlantic tournament. I mean, how much are the buy-ins? What are the guarantees? And what property do the players start the tournament at? Or is there a starting at Borgata, or is there a starting at Maryland? What happens?
Yeah. So this event is our first opportunity where Dave and I are we have an opportunity to partner with both Adam Boone and Chris McCall, who is the tournament manager down at National Harbor. And they, of course, always try to complement each other when we plan events here on the East Coast. So if Borgata runs its Winter Poker Open in January, National Harbor runs its Winter Potomac Open in February. Same August, they'll run in August for Potomac Poker Open. We'll run our events in September. And so we share a lot of a player base, and we also think that there's some competition there. Who has the best players? Is it DC or is it AC? And so when we got to talking about this event, we thought that it would be really incredible to make a great experience for players who are participating in a low buy-in event. When you announce a schedule where the lowest buy-in is $1,500, of course, all of our recreational players who really enjoy the $400 $1 millions and the $600 $1 millions, they think, oh, what about us? And so we wanted to make sure that we had something to announce in kind of conjunction with the Big Buy series, and that really was the Lions of Atlantic. And so it is a $600 buy-in with a $2 million guarantee. We're going to offer 7 flights, and those flights are going to start down at National Harbor.
Okay.
So players are going to have an opportunity starting on Wednesday, October 8th. There will be 2 flights on Wednesday, 2 flights on Thursday, and 1 flight on Friday, 1 flight on Saturday, and 1 flight on Sunday down at National Harbor. And that is Columbus Day weekend. And so we know down in DC on those federal holidays, they get lots and lots of business.
Wow.
And so we're going to play down the field. We're going to pay 12.5%, but we are going to only bag 8% of the field. And so if you finish, that min cash amount is going to be a flat $1,200, which also just happens to be 2 bullets. How convenient, right? If you wanted to get it into the next flight. And so once those flights wrap down at National Harbor, players not in the bag will have an opportunity to travel up here to Borgata, or just our Borgata player base starting on Tuesday, October 14th. So on Tuesday, we'll have 2 flights here, Wednesday, 2 flights, Thursday, 2 flights, and then on Friday, we'll have our final flight. So just 1 there. And we've all roads lead to Borgata is a true statement, because if you put chips in a bag, whether that is at National Harbor or here at Borgata, we're going to take care of your room accommodations on Friday and Saturday night, so that you can sleep well Friday night, come in for day 2 restart on Saturday, hopefully play deep, put more chips in a bag, get a good night's sleep on Saturday night, and then play to completion on Sunday. And the really cool, just one additional cool thing that BetMGM is throwing into the mix for us is a really cool custom jersey.
Wow.
BetMGM Poker's known for its jerseys, and since BetMGM Sports is so big as well, if you are bagging from National Harbor, you'll be able to pick up your National Harbor BetMGM Poker jersey. And if you're bagging here at Borgata, you'll be able to pick up your Borgata jersey. And there'll be, of course, different colors. And we're hoping that players throw them right on and make some really great photographs. But we're hoping it's going to be really incredible since it's our first, and that we'll be able to run this every year, if not twice a year.
I love that. You get to represent your home poker room. So that's a great idea. David, I got to ask you, we hear Kelly talking about the 2 million guarantees and Borgata's giving rooms and T-shirts. The one thing I love about BetMGM Poker is the cost of the online qualifiers. I mean, there's just absolutely incredible how inexpensive they are. I'm just curious. Are you both seeing players at tournaments who would not be there if it wasn't for the online qualifiers? Because it seems to me like something this inexpensive, I'm talking about the online qualifiers, it just opens up the field of players in the live poker tournaments.
Oh, 100%. With qualifiers starting as low as $2 in some cases.
See, that's incredible to me.
We're giving opportunities for players to make it into something they might never have played. Yeah. We had one player from Michigan qualified for $5. I believe he came in. What place was that, Kelly? 34th or?
Yeah, he went
ran
deep.
very
it
deep.
Was amazing.
From a $5 qualifier, won a 5, went to a 50 to a 500, and he finished in 48th place for just over $11,000. So those type of opportunities are available to everybody for almost every series that we run at MGM properties, including Borgata, National Harbor, Aria, and all the major stops.
I think that's incredible. Like I said, I think it opens up for poker players of all levels. I mean, like I said, I'm always on your sites and I'm seeing the prices of these things. I'm like, that can't be right. $2. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. Kelly, I was talking to you last year and you said how much the online qualifiers. Are you being serious? And it's absolutely incredible. And to wind up for the fall offerings from BetMGM Poker and Borgata, we have the Borgata Fall Poker Open powered by BetMGM from November 3rd to November 17th. Kelly, I know Borgata has the winter, spring, summer poker open. Is it now official that Borgata has a poker open for every season of the year? And do you think it'll remain that way from now on?
I absolutely think it's going to remain that way. I'm so excited to be able to see Fall Poker Open come back again, first time since we came back from COVID. And we are on the books for 26, 27, 28, 29, and 2030. We are
Wow, nice.
absolutely confirmed to see winter, spring, summer, and fall all return to Borgata. So our player base is going to be able to know that those events are going to same dates, same time frame, really consistent, just like old school Borgata structures always were in the past. And just it really feels like that's been a big goal for many years now. And we finally achieved it. And so we can't wait.
David, when will the online qualifiers start for the Fall Poker Open?
We typically start qualifiers for the opens around 30 to 45 days once we have the schedule set and everything's in place. So those will be rolling out at some point in October, early October. We'll have that out.
So, Kelly, I know, I think the schedule hasn't been officially announced when we're taping this, but can you share some of the events that people will experience in the Fall Poker Open? I know people love things like the Almighty Millions and things like that and other Borgata tournaments. Will there be things like that or any new events that you have planned that people should keep an eye out for?
Yeah, I think our open schedule is fairly consistent in what our players are used to seeing, and why break the mold, right? We do want to add neat and cool things in when we can, and change things that don't work. But really, our fan favorite, the Deep, Deeper, Deepest series, players really love that. We do a last stack standing, which is a last longer for that event. I will always have our anchor events, the kickoff, Almighty, our championship. We're back and forth right now over mystery bounties.
Okay.
So we know players love a mystery bounty, but there's a new event in town, and that's the PKO. So this type of event, really, it started online. It's called Progressive Knockout Bounty. And the idea is you start with us, everybody starts with a set amount. As I knock players out, Dave, I get to put half of their bounty in my pocket, but I have to add half to my stack. And so the bounty for knocking me out continues to grow and get bigger and bigger, but everybody else's bounties do the same. And so we're seeing players knock other players out deep into these tournaments and take over min cash and put that in their pocket. And so we think this might be the new type of bounty event. And so more than likely for Fall Poker Open, we are going to see a replacement of the mystery bounty and an attempt at running a big filled PKO.
Wow.
We did do one for Pure Grind Series. We had 842 players in that event. So we'll see if we can break 5 figures on those entries, and see, just get the feedback from the players to see whether they prefer a mystery bounty or a PKO, and rock and roll from there.
So when should people start looking for the schedule for the Fall Poker Open?
Absolutely. That's out right now for approvals. We always like to send it out to our ambassadors and to poker players who are really involved in East Coast poker and have investments. I always send it out to them so that, one, they know they have their ear, really involved in what's coming up, other houses that haven't officially released their schedules, what conflicts would look like, where they feel like our events are best placed. And so we love to hear that feedback from those players before we officially drop the schedule. But like Dave said, we want this out before the start of October so that they on BetMGM Poker can start running qualifiers in that first week.
After interviewing Kelly a couple of times and seeing what BetMGM Poker is doing, you guys really get a lot of input from the players. And how important is that? Because I've talked to poker people all around the world and all around but you guys make a point of it to say, you know what, we asked our players what they think, which is so unusual for a lot of places. Yeah,
for sure. They play.
Yeah,
we don't, right? That's almost how I look at it. I tell the guys that all the time. I said, you guys are playing. Tell us, what are we doing right? Where can we improve? What would you like to see? If it's possible, we'll absolutely consider it every time. And I think over the years, we've garnered some very strong relationships with our players, and we have that trust in that we're going to make the right decisions, do what's best to continue to grow poker here at Borgata online and just the game in general. So we really appreciate just the synergy that we have with our players. It's not just a business and customer relationship. We work very closely. We're basically all friends, and we can trust that they're going to give us feedback that isn't just to benefit them personally, that it considers the game and the structure and the tournament or whatever it is that we're doing overall to put out the best product possible.
Kelly, I know you always talk to players in the room and things like that. I mean, how important is their input when you're creating a tournament like this?
There's no way I could possibly put a value on it without having input and feedback from our player base. What are we doing? Yep. What are we doing? The idea of poker has always been, as operators, we are here to provide a game to our players. And obviously that game should be with the highest integrity and the cleanest technique and all of those things, all of those expectations that should just be natural. But at the same time, if we're providing something that no one is interested in, then why are we even providing it? And so, there's always going to be tons and tons and tons of feedback, but you have to understand what players are looking for, and you have to listen to them when they are willing to provide feedback for you, because a lot of times they're going to be the ones that have the most information, have the most candid and honest feedback, input, all of the things that are necessary in order to be able to make changes that make things better. And I think at the end of the day, BetMGM Poker and Borgata Poker want to make better poker every single time we have an opportunity.
So, David, beyond the fall, is there anything that BetMGM Poker is working on that they can share with people out there? And is there anything on the online poker front that BetMGM is working on in the coming months and year? And I heard that the BetMGM Online Championship is happening right now. Can you give us some information on that?
For sure. So our latest iteration of the Online Championship is starting on September 21st. Mm-hmm. This is going to be one of the biggest yet, now that we have full share liquidity, Michigan, Pennsylvania, New Jersey players. So 70 events running through October 5th, 3 million in total guarantees, which is just unreal. Incredible. So we're going to have another 2.5K guarantee or 2.5K buy-in super high roller, 300K guarantee on September 28th, as well as our $1,000 championship, $400,000 guarantee. It's going to be running on 10/5. So this is going to be another great iteration of the online championships. Looking forward to just wrapping this one up and heading into November. 2025 is going to end with a bang between Borgata and BetMGM.
Kelly, how about Borgata? I know there's always something going on there. Anything you can share that people should look forward to when they visit Borgata in the coming months?
My goodness, Dave, you want more than what we've already talked about?
First off, can I tell everyone this is my favorite time of the year to visit Borgata, because I don't know who decorates the casino. It's absolutely beautiful in the fall and Christmas time. It's great to be there.
Yeah, their natural flower displays are simply stunning, and they make great Instagram photos too,
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely, yeah.
But, Borgata also launched this year our Pure Grind series. So we wanted to do low buy-in, multi-day, multi-table, massive tournaments with big, big guarantees, $200 buy-ins, $300K guarantees, $250, and there's a whole bunch of additions. And so we're rolling those out, and we have been for the duration of this year. So we'll offer one in September, one in October, one in November, and one in December. And the cool thing about the PGS series is that every event qualified for leaderboard points. And so we are going to pay our top 5 placers a cash prize, and we have guaranteed first place for that $10,000 cash and a Borgata Winter Poker Open Championship seat. That'll happen in January 2026, of course. We'll probably call it the BetMGM Poker Championship. And, really excited about who is going to take that seat down, and really excited about seeing 12 of them in 2026.
David and Kelly, we're running out of time, but is there a website that people should go to so they can find out more about the upcoming Lions of the Atlantic powered by BetMGM and the Borgata Fall Poker Open powered by BetMGM? And are there any social media addresses that you want to give out for the coming events at BetMGM and Borgata?
Yeah, so I am and have always been at Poker Babe Boss. And then, of course, you can follow us on at Borgata Poker, at BetMGM Poker.
As well as at betmgmpoker.com. And you can follow me at _PokerDave_ on X.
Doesn't he have to change that, Dave?
Yeah, right.
It's too many Daves.
Yeah, there's way too many Daves. So
our structures and everything for Lions is also up on theborgata.com. And I'm going to try to get Fall Poker Open up there ASAP as well. So definitely anyone listening can head over to theborgata.com, click on our poker page, and check out all of the details there for Lions of the Atlantic.
David Mileaf, Senior Manager of Poker Operations for BetMGM, and Kellie de Celis, Borgata's Director of Poker Operations. Thanks so much for coming on and telling us about some of the incredible poker going on right now at BetMGM and Borgata. Just to remind everyone, Lions of the Atlantic, powered by BetMGM, is happening October 8th through October 19th. And Borgata Fall Poker Open, powered by BetMGM, is happening November 3rd through the 17th. Always some incredible poker from BetMGM and Borgata. So both of you, please come back on and keep us up to date with what's happening with BetMGM and Borgata. David and Kelly, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having us, Dave.
Thanks, Dave. Have a great day.
That'll do it for us this week. We'll see you next time on the Turnpike.